Hi guys, it's Joe here from Rufio, bringing you a new video. A deck profile I've been wanting to do for some time. I've been working towards it and just finally been able to get all the bits for it. So it's Crusadia. I wanted to try and stick with a slightly more pure variant than the Mekk-Knight versions that are going around. So, I mean, this deck is like super budget friendly, which is really, really cool for those of you out there who like to play on a budget, who like a more rogue variant. And you can also just, you smack the shit out of people and just OTK them. There are one or two slightly more expensive cards in here. You can drop those out nice and easy. There's plenty of replacements. So, like I said, the pure intent of this deck is to just go second in OTK. Now, I will quickly say apologies if there is any crazy noises or anything. I am recording in the store. There's plenty going on outside. Everyone's playing Magic. So, anyway, I won't fuck around too much more. So, I start off with, we've got a bit of a Kaiju package. I've actually gone with 5. This is slightly higher than a lot of the variants out there are playing. Apologies if there's any glare there. We'll try and move them, so a bit less there for you. Yeah, like I say, I'm running a 5 Kaijus. I felt this was good. It just means that you're always going to see at least the one you would think in your opening hand, which is really, really nice. That's what we want to try and aim to do. So yeah, I think 5 is cool. These are the main 4 you're going to want to use. I just threw this one in as the extra. You can put whatever ones you like in here. I know some people favour the bigger ones just so that they can get more damage on board when they have their Equimax point to it and that kind of thing. But I think this is absolutely fine. So yeah, they're perfect for me. Moving on to the more, I guess, Crusadia based stuff. So we've got a couple of World Crowns. You know what these do, you special summon them to a zone and it just beefs up your monster big time. So there's a couple of those in there. I felt 2 was fine. I felt 3 would be probably too much, so we stick with that. Then the actual Crusadia monsters. Now, the ratios here are up to you. It's just down to personal preference. I've tried to go with as much consistency as possible, and there was actually a little bit more space in this than I thought there would be to play with, especially considering it's not the Mekk-Knight variant, so there is that extra room. So I've gone with 3 Draco. I quite like this. The fact that you can just add back from the grave and that kind of thing is nice. A good way to just keep recycling them. I quite like it. Works for me at 3, and that's the best I've found so far for me. We've got 1 Leonis. I think this is absolutely great at 3. There are ways to get this out of deck that are better than just your standard summon or whatever. You'll see those as we come to it later on. But yeah, I think 3 of these, again, it is good. It's a good way to beef up everything. And of course, the more names you have, the more you can keep resolving them, because that's what you need to be able to do. With that in mind, we've also got triple Maximus. Sorry guys, this is a little bit lower than I thought because of the old glare, but this should be absolutely fine. 3 of these, absolutely perfect. Again, it's the case for most of them that you are going to want to run them as 3s because you want to keep resolving those names and you want to see them as quickly as possible. Moving on, I have just done the 2 Arborea. I feel that this is one of the weaker ones from my experience. You may disagree. I don't really have any benefit for the tuner ability in this deck. There are decks out there that I'm sure that do use it. I think 2 of them is absolutely perfect. It's enough to see it when you need to, but not too much. And much the same for Reclusia. Again, this is entirely down to you how you want to do this. I think the 2 is absolutely fine as it is. Again, it's just more names on board, but you don't want to get your hand clogged with these. And the risk is if you run in 3 is that you might see too many of them. And then just to finish off the monsters, we've got 2 Rescue Cat. This is a really, really good way to get into your Leonis. It's just going to get you there quickly. What's not to like? So, moving on, we move on to our spell lineup. I've got 2 Twin Twisters. Again, because you want to just absolutely smack the shit out of people, back row can be a real problem, especially floodgates and that kind of thing. For that reason, you may want to side in things like Pancratops and that kind of thing, especially if they're floodgate heavy. But I think 2 Twin Twisters is fine. You don't want too many of them because they're not always going to be that helpful. Having them isn't always the best thing, but having the access to them is always good. 1 Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. You are running tons of Kaijus. There's absolutely 0 reason to not have this in here. You could probably up this. I think 1 is fine, especially because now it's gone to 3. Hurrah for all the people who are excited about that. Like I said, you could run 3 if you want to run an even more Kaiju heavy version, but I think 1 is absolutely fine for what we're doing. Yeah, it's absolutely fine as it is. We've got the 1 card destruction. Again, just to dig through your cards, you can load your grave with names. There are ways to recur those, that kind of thing. I think 1 card destruction is absolutely fine. It's going to help you just dig through. We've got double terraforming. I am running the field spell in this variant. I felt it was kind of, a good addition. It's a good way to boost and that kind of thing. I quite like it. And so, yeah, you want to get those as quickly as possible. It's going to help you deck thin and all of that exciting shit. We've got 1 Monster Reborn. Again, just getting those names back on board, putting in those link arrow zones, it's going to help you go off. And as you know, you cycle through your monsters quite quickly, so you've always got options in grave. We've got the 3 Revival. As explained earlier, I quite like this. The fact that all your links just get a nice little boost is absolutely awesome. And then the fact that it's just going to do, plenty more damage by the fact that you can have one just attack loads is awesome. Especially if it's Equimax, you know that's game anyway. Moving on. So, triple Pot of Desires. Again, you want to try and, as much as possible, first turn, you want to absolutely destroy them. There's plenty of 3-ofs in this deck. I know there's a few, I guess, 1-offs, but for the most part, all the important cards are at 3, and so you don't have to worry too much about banishing them. You're probably only going to activate this once, and you're either going to win, or, you're probably fucked anyway, because if you try and live past, 2 turns, you're probably in trouble. Dark Hole and Regeki. This, I was kind of in 2 minds about whether I wanted to play it. I figure, though, going second, it just gives you another option. Sometimes you're not able to move for the kill straight away, but you have all the cards to do it. There might be stuff that's sort of tricky or getting in your way, and it might be better to try and wait a turn and survive and just get these to clear up the board, and then the next turn go in for the kill. And much with that in mind, I've got triple evenly matched in here. So, again, this is one of the more sort of high-value cards. As explained, this isn't entirely necessary. This is just something that I quite like to have in there. Just having that option to clear up the board, especially if you're made to go first and you can set up a minimal board. You've got an option to react to your opponent. You can set this or, activate it from hand, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. It just gives you a second option for going first. And that's it for the main deck. Like I say, it's not perfect. It is just something that I've been toying with, and I thought it might be a cool way to run the build. I've quite liked what I've seen of it so far. You may feel the same, and I'm sure there are people out there who will prefer the Mekk-Knight variants, which are very, very strong, and I would recommend checking those out if you have access to those. But moving on, so we go to the extra deck. Again, we're just opting for consistency. We want to be able to keep getting those link plays going. So I've got 3 mages. Again, you may not need all 3, but the option is there. And much the same, we've got 3 Regulex. Again, you're going to want to plow through these and just get into your Equimax as quickly as possible and just put tons of damage on board. We've just got the 1 Spather, I guess that's how you pronounce it. I don't feel this is as important to the deck as some of the other ones, but it is an option. It's just another way to get there. And again, it's just going to help you link climb and gain whatever effects along the way. We'll move those out the way. And then continuing with the extra deck. We've got triple Equimax. That's why we're here, right? We want to be able to just absolutely blitz people with this. 3 Equimax, absolutely perfect. I know some people like 2. Those are generally in the Mekk-Knight variants and that kind of thing from what I'm seeing. They probably have a much tighter extra deck than this version has. But given that we're going for a slightly more pure variant with just the Kaijus, 3 is absolutely awesome. Moving on, we've got some more generic links now, just sort of toolbox cards. So I've got the 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, and 1 Unicorn. You will see from most of the decks that I play, I always try and fit these in where possible. Absolutely awesome utility cards. Most decks, if I can fit them, they go in there, and pretty much any deck can run them, so there's no reason not to. They're just going to help you out problems. Maybe a floodgate, if you can get through, you can get onto this. This is going to pop, maybe just sort of something problematic, and that's going to spin cards. The amount of games I win because of this card is just unreal. In every deck it's in, it does such good work for me. And then just to round it off, we've got these two topologic cards. No Gomblar, thank God that card's gone. We've got 1 Trisbania, for much the same reason that we've got the Twin Twisters. This deck does struggle with like floodgates or, back row heavy stuff, kind of reactive cards. You want to be able to know that you can attack without having too much to worry about, and this is going to help you get there. We've also got the 1 topologic Bomber Dragon, again, for much the same reason. You're just going to want to blow stuff up and just sort of go from there. This card's absolutely awesome. And yeah, it's just another option to keep the field clear until you can make the plays that you want to play. So that is it, guys. I haven't done a side deck for this one. I don't feel it was entirely necessary because they are just sort of format dependent. And at the moment, the new format is just starting. It hasn't really developed, so we don't really know where we're going from here yet. I recommend kind of standard stuff like red reboots and that kind of thing. Probably some more back row removal, just to encourage your players to go through. And yeah, that's it really. So thank you very much for watching. Big shout out to Mark for giving me the space to record this. If you haven't already, go check out some of my other content. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm also on Instagram at the same address, just instagram.com/RufioYT if you're interested in pictures of things. I guess it's not really my kind of thing, but I know some of you love it out there. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. I'm afraid that's all we have time for in this video. If by chance you haven't had enough of listening to me waffle at you through a video about a children's card game, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are on the screen, or if you're feeling really lazy, you can click the links in the description. While you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content too. It'll make me smile, I promise. And who can ask for more than that? Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.